Over 10 years ago, I bought a practice from an older dentist, and it was a show. Before I begin, I have no ill will towards him, and it's been over 10 years, so I don't really care anymore because, it's been a while, and I've been able to make the practice a success. So to give you some details, I bought this practice for around $325,000. The doctor was doing around $400-something thousand. It was a 2-chair practice that had been around for like 50 plus years. These days, banks won't even loan for a 2-chair practice. But back then, I don't know what was up with the air, but there was like 8 backup offers for this practice. I think because it was fully digital already, like there were no paper charts. And if you start looking at practices, you'll see that a lot of them are just really, really old and need a lot of work to convert from paper to digital. This one was kind of like ready to go. There are only 2 employees in the practice, the front desk, who is still with me, and an assistant, and the doctor was doing all his own hygiene, so there was no hygienist. Okay, so what went wrong, and would I have done anything about it otherwise? So when you buy practice, typically the older doctor is going to send letters out to the current patient base, letting them know that there's going to be a new doctor that's going to take over the practice. And in many cases, they will stay around and help introduce you as the patients come in, so the patients aren't like, oh my God, who is this new doctor? Basically, after the transfer happened, the doctor was printing out his little letter for the people, and even that, my front desk was getting kind of annoyed because he was using my new company's resources to do that, like stamps, paper, envelopes, things like that. But like that kind of stuff I don't sweat as long as the letter goes out. He took all these letters home and he's working on them. For about a few days after the transfer happened, he did stay in the office and introduce me to a few of the patients that were coming through. Then 3 days in, randomly, I walk into the office and he's scurrying out with like a handful of whitening gels. And I'm like, hey, he's like, sorry, I gotta go. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I was looking at the whitening gels. He's like, I promised these to my neighbor. He's like, okay, see you later, bye. The whole thing was just so weird. And me and my front desk were like, what the heck? So basically that was the last time I saw him. He hopped on a plane and then he went over to like a new state and then bought a new practice. And that's it. And so patients would come in and be like, where did Dr. blah, blah, blah go? And we're like, we don't know. It was almost like he was fleeing the country or something. And I emailed him a couple times about things that would come up, and he'd try his best to like answer me through email, but he was ultimately like, I wish I could help you more, but I can't. So that was the end of him. And the worst part is that he didn't actually send out the letter. I think he sent out like a batch of letters, but the majority of them did not go out. And the reason we know is because patients would actually come into the office and they would see me, the new doctor there, and they would be like, shocked. We were like, did you get the letter? Like, there's been a transfer of ownership, and patients were as